Okay, so let's go further here. Next article is Tony Blair courts U.S. pastor Rick Warren in a bid to unite all faiths. This is from just 14th, looks like of March, from the Observer. Former Prime Minister is attempting to build a network of Christian allies. He's the former Prime Minister of England, Tony Blair. A network of Christian allies as he prepares to launch a religious offensive in North America. Tony Blair is preparing to launch a, quote, faith offensive across the United States over the next year after building up relations with a network of influential religious leaders and faith organizations. Now we have an absolute total, basically former politician coming into the fray of now uniting all the faiths on the planet. Not to say he's the first one or the only one, but he's a pretty major one. With Afghanistan and Iraq casting a shadow over his popularity at home in Britain, Blair's focus has increasingly shifted across the Atlantic to where the nexus of faith and power is immutable, and he is like a rock star. Give me a break. And remember, this is from the Observer. This isn't from a Christian source here. But I think what they say is pretty much self-condemning, and you'll see why, or condemning regarding him. According to the annual accounts of the Tony Blair Faith Foundation, a UK-based charity that promotes cohesion between the major faiths, the foundation is to develop a U.S. arm that will pursue a host of faith-based projects. The accounts show that his foundation has an impressive and in one case controversial set of faith contacts, sitting on some 4.5 million in funds, 4.5 million pounds in funds as of April last year, most gathered through donations. It is now well placed to make his voice heard. 4 million in, wow, that's a lot of money. A pound is a lot more than $1, so that really shouldn't surprise us. The Foundation's advisory council of religious leaders includes Rick Warren, powerful founder of the California-based Saddleback Church. Now again, I've done several teachings on Rick Warren. Go up to YouTube, Ken Scott Johnson, and then Rick, or Warren, and you'll find him up there. Several teachings exposing him. It attracts congregations of nearly 20,000, his Rick Warren, and is reportedly one of the largest in the USA. Warren, who has addressed the United Nations and the World Economic Forum in Davos, has been named one of the 15 world leaders who matter most. Rick Warren. 15 world leaders who matter most? I've told you this before, that they only honor, meaning they, New World Order, the globalists, the elite, whatever you want to call them, they only honor their own. They're not going to let you get in that position unless they've allowed you to be there. I understand the Lord Jesus Christ is on the throne, okay, but the Bible does clearly predict it's going to get more and more and more wicked, as it was in the days of Noah. So shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. I mean, Noah's day was about as wicked as you could get. And we've got all these other Bible verses that confirm that as well. We know there's going to be a strong delusion sent by the Lord, according to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. So, again, and we've done so many studies exposing Rick Warren, and I wouldn't even know where to, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. We've already kind of done those studies. But he is also one of the 100 most influential people in the world. His influence was confirmed in December of 2008 when good old Barack Obama chose him to give the invocation at his presidential inauguration. And we did a whole study on the inauguration of Barack Obama. And you can key that in up on YouTube as well. Anyway, going further, also on the council is David Coffey, president of the Baptist World Alliance, a Virginia-based network of churches that spans the globe and is particularly active in the U.S. There's going to be no denomination that is going to be spared from this. There's not. Even the Baptists. So, they're all eventually going to come under the banner of the New World Order. And when the lying signs and wonders and miracles, which is the primary way that the Antichrist and the false prophet are going to deceive the whole world, when those kick into high gear, you're going to have much quicker uniting, most likely. Yes, you'll have a separation from some that we'll be able to identify. But people that are in those movements, the longer they've been in them, the longer they stayed, and the longer and more content they are to maybe warm a pew in one of those particular denominations, the harder it is for them, it's going to be for them to see what the truth really is, because they've already been deluded for a long time. Not everyone, but I'm talking the majority. It's the strong delusion that God said He was going to send. So, going further, his desire for North America, meaning Tony Blair's, is to be the focus of his faith-based operations, was confirmed by the decision to hold his foundation's inaugural event in May of 2008 in New York. For the charity's key partners and religious stakeholders. Religious stakeholders? These are people that have a lot of steaks. They go out and they order Delmonico and filet mignon, and they put them in the refrigerator. They're stakeholders. No, just kidding. Sorry. A little humor there. Anyway, this foundation has partners. Now, what does that mean? Financial partners. They have a vested interest. Nothing's done anymore unless there's something to be gained regarding this type of stuff that we're talking about here. The charity's key partners and religious stakeholders. That's an interesting statement. Who shine a light on the close connections the foundation now enjoys with major political institutions in the U.S. So now we have major political institutions yoking up with religious institutions. Not to say that wasn't the case before, but it's just more overt now. With the Washington-based Center for Interfaith, that means you're having an organization that is uniting all the faiths together. With the Washington-based Center for Interfaith Action, the foundation supported a meeting of major international organizations, plus the White House, World Bank, the United Nations, and the World Health Organization. Now, these are the same devil organizations that I talk about almost on a weekly basis. And they're uniting with Tony Blair's organization here. The White House, the World Bank,